Hello everyone, my name's Emma Reynolds. I'm a children's author and illustrator from Manchester. I illustrated this book called Rescue Mrs. Birdley that's very funny about a kid and her teacher. Then I wrote and illustrated Amara and the Bats, all about a little girl who wants to save the bats in her local community. And then I spent 3 years working on this book with 15 other artists called Drawn to Change the World, and it's a graphic novel all about youth climate activists. So I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about the Summer Reading Challenge, and then we're going to do a draw along together. So the Summer Reading Challenge is a really awesome free activity you can do this summer. You basically log on online, register an account, or you can sign up at your local library and you set yourself a challenge of however many books you like to read this summer. And every time you read a book, you get a reward. It could be an online digital badge, or if you go into your local library, you can ask them what kind of free stickers and things like that they have available. And yeah, it's a great way to set yourself a challenge to read more books this summer. It can be any book you like. So the theme of this year is Read to the Beat. So I thought it would be fun to draw a character dancing. So if you didn't know this already, I used to work in animation for 6 years. So I thought it would be fun to show you some of the tricks I learned to make a character look like they're in a really good fluid pose. So let's get down to it. Okay, so we're going to start with our paper landscape like this, long ways. And we're going to draw a circle or an oval, which is going to be our head of our character. Now I'm going to show you around one for now, but if you do this again, you're welcome to do any shape head you like. It could be square for a robot, it could be triangle, literally any shape. But for now, we're going to just start with a circle or oval in the top section of our piece of paper. Now we're going to do a shape that looks a little bit like the letter S, but it's going to be more stretched out. So we're going to start our letter S here and go up to the neck and then carry on, and then a stretched out S ending up over here. So this is our person's back curving round, and this is the bottom of their ankle. Okay, so next we're going to make them some legs. So they're going to be wearing some baggy flared trousers. So I'm going to draw a curve that mirrors this one. So it's the same shape, like a curve, up to about here. Then I'm going to make another curve, but it's a little bit spread out like this. So now we're going to draw the edge of their other leg. So we're going to draw another curve, gradually getting further out as we go, which is going to be like this. Then we're going to join up the rest of the body like so. So now we've got the head, a body, and the legs, and they're doing a groovy flow motion like this. So we're going to give our character some feet. So I'm just going to polish off the ends like this. You're welcome to customize these, however. We could have some bottoms to these shoes. And then it's up to you to decide the trouser length, but they look quite big. So let's do one of these. Just some cuffs to our trousers. So for the arms, you can have the arms any direction you like. They could be coming up above them. But let's show you the one I thought of for now, and then you're welcome to do the arms in any direction you like to go with the flow of the character. So if we draw a big shape out to the side, a bit like a big letter C, but more stretched like a hook. And then we're going to draw the inner part. So it's up to you how wide to make the arms. And then I'm going to do a flipped version of this one. So we're going to do a backward C, or it looks like a J if you turn it that way. I'm going to draw a hook shape out this way. And then we're going to thicken it up to make those arms. Okay, so we've got our basic dancing character now. So now let's add a face before we decide what they're going to be holding and doing. So I'm going to show you some different eye styles. So if you have ever seen me do the bat draw along, you might have seen me show some of these eye styles before. So I'm just going to draw them down down here just so they're not in the way. So you don't have to copy this, but they're just some different eye styles you can choose from. So we could do what's basically called a dot eye, which is literally a black dot or circle. We could have a circle with the coloured part of the eye looking in different directions. They could be looking up, they could be looking to the side, they could be looking down, or we could have them deep in the music and they could be having their eyes closed and they're listening to it. Or if you have your little arch upwards, it's like a happy face, so they're going, oh yay, closing my eyes because I'm so happy. Or if you're feeling really fancy, you can draw a big oval and you could have two shines inside it, and it's like they've just heard their favourite song of all time and they're really excited. Maybe their favourite artist has just stepped through the door, or maybe they've come on the radio or on a stream and they're very excited to hear that music. So choose any eye that you like, and we're going to add two of them onto our character. So I'm going to go for two closed eyes because I think my character's chilling with the music. And I'm going to give them, while I'm here, two eyebrows. Next, we're going to add a mouth. So again, we can choose a different mouth. It could be a smile, which looks very like this, but maybe a bit more like a U shape. It could be a smile like this. It could be an open mouth with a little tongue. They might be doing a little doubly mouth because they're feeling cute. You might be sticking their tongue out. It's completely up to you. So we're going to add a smile or any kind of mouth you like. And if you want to, you can add a nose, but you don't have to. So let's add a little nose. Okay, looking good. So maybe they need some ears, and ears are good because you can add different accessories. So maybe they might actually be listening to something. So if we make a bigger thing like this and a little thing on the end, they've got their headphones in, and they're listening to something that's making them do a cool dance. So another thing I learned when working animation is that hair and things like that can be a really good extension of movement. It really helps accentuate and show the flow of movement. So you can add any hair or hat you like to this character, but I thought I'd show you how you can use long hair or the wind blowing just to give that extra sense that they're like, ooh, they're moving, they're flowing. So if they've got really long hair, you can kind of draw a kind of cloud shape, and it makes them look extra like they're in movement. They even look a bit like they're on roller skates. In fact, don't roller skate with your eyes closed, kids, but you get the idea. They're flowing, and we can add some flow lines. Okay, so what could they be holding? How about a musical instrument? Some of you might play a musical instrument. I used to play the flute and the recorder and the penny whistle in school. They could be holding the phone, that's what's streaming the music. They could be holding a book. They could be holding an ice cream. It's pretty warm right now. I'm warm, I don't know about you right now. So let's have them holding an ice cream. So when we're drawing a hand holding something, it's kind of like we're stacking these sausagey shapes to make the fingers. And then we've got one finger, which is the thumb, sorry, I should say, kind of like this. And then we've got the ice cream cone, which is a triangle with the crisscrossy, delicious foam. Then we've got some ice cream. But what I love doing with ice cream is making it as tall as possible. So it could be going into outer space. And because they're moving, how about one is flying off because they are moving and dancing? Uh-oh. They're too into the rhythm. They're going to lose their precious ice cream. Devastated. Okay. So You also, those of you who play music or have seen music around, might know what sheet music looks like. So sheet music is basically, looks a bit like this. And you've got the notes coming off it. So we've got 5 lines. And I thought it would be cool if we had the music kind of flowing around this character. So we just make any twirly lines we like, flowing around, and then we follow those lines. Of course, you don't have to do this. This is just optional. Just roughly follow those flow lines, and then we can have some musical notes. So you've got the double ones, you've got the single ones, got the quavers. Okay, amazing. And a nice thing they do in some comics is they sometimes have music lyrics flowing around the character to show that they're listening to it. So this can be quite fun. So just to make it easy on us, let's come up with the song most people know, which is Happy Birthday. So we're going to put Happy Birthday. But they seem really into this song, so maybe it's a much more interesting remix of Happy Birthday, and they're listening to it as they go somewhere on their skates. So I think they need some clothes because they're in some sort of onesie at the moment. That doesn't look very summery. So again, use your imagination. You can put whatever kind of clothes you like. Just going to give them some sleeves for a t-shirt. Let's have the collar in there. And that's their jeans or trouser top there. And maybe on their t-shirt we could have a book for the summer reading challenge. We could have the sun. Woohoo! So we've still got, let's have some cheeks as well. We've still got something they could be holding in this hand. Maybe a book. So we're going to draw another little sausage, which is their thumb. And then if we draw a book like this, they are holding it. So I don't know what book it is. It could be your favourite book. You could write the title here. My fave book. Amazing. So they're dancing, they're grooving. Now remember, this is just an example. You're welcome to copy this, or you can come up with your own character. So to start, we did the circle for the head, and then we did this kind of S shape to show them grooving. So as long as you're kind of showing that fluidity, the arms could be up here. Woohoo, we're dancing. The arms could be down here. They could be doing a peace sign. They could be a K-pop idol. They could have really cool long socks on, really cool outfits. They could have a cap, anything you like. And they don't have to be human either. They could be an animal. In fact, let's give this person a tail, because you never know. Maybe they're part cat. Meow. I think they're ready for summer. I certainly am. Amazing. It's been so fun showing you this. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see your pictures. Do tag Manchester Libraries and myself if you like. This is my Instagram. If your teachers would like to show me any of your drawings, I always love to see them. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed drawing your cool dancing character. And remember, it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's your character. It could be anything you dream of. I hope you have an awesome summer drawing and reading, and I'll see you next time. Bye!